Yes, why does Canada always have to suffer for these two idiots? Mr. and Mrs. Privacy. So Harry basically became a reporter, what he hates the most. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave your comments. It helps the algorithm and the channel. Subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting is free. If you'd like to join as a member, that's appreciated, and it helps the channel as well. And also thank you for the support that you give to this old woman. But thank you very much for all of that. Look who's here. Chidi. Yum, yum, yum. So, yes, thank you. And I want to talk to you about how things are taken out of context, especially Daily Mail is doing that. I don't know why they did that, but they are doing it. Yes. You know how yesterday it was reported that Samantha lawyers had said that they didn't have the strongest case and stuff like that? Again, that was taken out of context. The lawyers spoke, from what I've been told. This was in a specific thing about the subjective thinking of siblings. That's what he was referring to about maybe not being the strongest case, but this is why they needed discovery. But he wasn't talking about the entire case. Just like the judge said that some of the things that Samantha's lawsuit were ripe for throwing out, but that the lawsuit still had merit. So the lawyer, from what I've been told, was specifically referring to a part of the suitcase, the lawsuit, sorry, the suitcase. What am I thinking? Suitcase, yes. So that's what he was talking about. But here we have people misrepresenting it, saying it was that the lawyer said that the whole case wasn't right. And so, yeah, if people are, this is terrible nowadays, you know, and you would think they would learn something, but they don't. They don't. So it's quite a scary thing when that happens, when people, and you know, this Ellie Hall, by the way, yesterday I immediately, because the Royal Grift tagged me in her video, within 2 seconds I was notified, I immediately passed that video to Samantha. Okay, so within a couple of minutes, less than a minute, Samantha had that video with her, and she has seen it, and she's very grateful. Okay, so thank you guys. Thank you, the Royal Grift, for tagging me on that. You guys know I am a farmer. I have a job. I'm not very well connected, especially in the areas where I am out of reach. So thank you for that. But Samantha got it immediately. But this is why we have to be careful, because I told you guys yesterday the laws in Florida to prove defamation, which is one, that the person made a statement about another person to a third party, and that is published, and that it causes damage. Meghan Markle made statements, those to Jason Kanoff, to specifically give it to another party for publication. So first off, she did tell all those things to Jason Kanoff, who is a third party, and those things with a specific intent and malice of publicizing or having those things be made public in a book that was published worldwide. Now, I also talk about criminal libel. In Florida is the only state, as far as I researched, that still has criminal libel. Because let's not forget, people think Samantha is a public figure. Samantha is not a public figure. Samantha is a private citizen who was thrust into the limelight because of Meghan Markle. Okay? Meghan Markle and the palace did a great job at protecting Doria, but not at protecting the rest of Meghan Markle's family. Okay? Now, the only reason why the black side of the family is kind of safe from all the media and all the stuff that's happened is because they're black. And because they had BLM, and now being black is like a blanket to commit crimes. In most areas, you can say anything you want, and that's fine. You know, you can't call them out as liars or anything, because even if they're lying and you call them out, you're being racist. So this is why the media has not talked to the black side of the family for Meghan Markle, because they don't want to touch that bee's nest, you know, that beehive. So that's what it comes down to. But the palace and Meghan Markle did nothing to protect Mr. Markle and her siblings from all. Yes, and she does have siblings, from all the press media intrusion that happened, how they were hounded. And Meghan and the palace knew, because the palace recommended to Meghan to have a meeting with her family and say this. But what did Meghan say? I don't have any siblings. I don't have any history. But because the palace knew about what happens when somebody is linked to the royal family, they know that the press goes and is interested in finding out and talking to the relatives. So they did advise Meghan Markle to provide the same level of support to Mr. Markle and her siblings. But as she said in that Jason Kanoff email, they are not, I am an only child. I've only seen Samantha a handful of times. And this Ellie Hall and some people in the, I saw it yesterday in the Twitter feed and everything. They were saying that Samantha never said she'd seen him a handful of times. Because from what I read, one of the things that the lawyer said, but then again, I only have to go by what's out there. One of the things that Meghan Markle's lawyer said was that Meghan Markle had never said that she's only seen Samantha a handful of times. And yet, in the Jason Kanoff's email, is there in black and white that she'd only seen her sister a handful of times. Now, in the criminal libel, it says that when a public figure or anybody trashes anybody, a female, about her chastity or being unchaste, that is called criminal libel. I talked to you about it yesterday, and you can read it. It's there, and I'll leave the link in the video description. I will leave the link for you to look at it. It's at the very bottom. It'll be there. It'll say, the video description. I will also leave it in a pinned comment under the video, okay, for you to read the Florida law. And the single publication rule is not absolute. It depends on how things progressed. Because, for example, Samantha, there was the book out there, and Samantha didn't know who the source was. We now know that it wasn't that Meghan said an odd comment. No, those were statements given to her private secretary as bullet points, as statements of fact, nothing subjective, but statements of fact that to give to a third party that Meghan Markle was fully aware was publishing a book. And she was basically bullet pointing everything, So for people to say, oh, no, she doesn't meet the standard because she didn't publish the book, but she did give the information to a third party with the purpose to cause damage. And that information was made public. And she knew that it would be made public. She knew that the intent of that information being made public, what that information was to be made public. She knew that. It's not like she was talking to her girlfriends and, one of her girlfriends blabbed, because then the defamation rule wouldn't apply. But here, it was Meghan Markle writing points to be included in a book to be published worldwide. I don't know if you guys understand that. And then, where does the criminal libel could apply? About the chastity, about a woman being unchaste, where Meghan said that Samantha Markle, basically, it's not like she didn't say, she did say that Samantha was a high school dropout. She dropped out of high school. What is that? A high school dropout. And then she doesn't elaborate further, saying, but she then went on to get 2 masters, so she doesn't say why Samantha had to drop out of high school. So it's very, very interesting but I'm very shocked at how people twist and turned everything around, especially Daily Mail, because they should have said that the judge only meant that the lawyer was referring to a specific part of the lawsuit. And this is why discovery was needed further. So in the Chase thing and the criminal libel, and please, I will leave the link and do read it, okay? Because I get all this from reading. I take the time to read it. I'm dyslexic, guys. And believe me, it's hard for me to read it. It says that criminal libel is it's a criminal offense, misdemeanor, or something like that. If it is implied, if a woman is attacked about being unchaste, which is what Meghan Markle did by saying that Samantha Markle had 3 children from different men and she lost custody, what does it matter that she had, in the United States, it's very common to have children from different men. The divorce rate is incredible. Meghan Markle herself is a 2 times divorced woman, or at least 1 time that we know of divorced woman. Has she had children with Trevor and then she met Harry, she would be having other children. Let me put it into perspective for all of you wonderful people. The Prince Mette-Marit, Prince of Norway, the Princess of Norway, she has a child. Now he's a grown man, from a previous relationship when he met Prince Haakon, who was the Crown Prince of Norway. There was a big uproar because of her behavior. She had to make a public apology. And she had a child before meeting Haakon. And then she married Haakon and had, I think, 2 children. So she's been, she has children from different men. Does that make her a skank? Because she has children from different men. So by Meghan saying that Samantha is a high school dropout who fathered children from different men, that's calling her unchaste, or that's terrible. That basically she's calling her a slut or a whore. That she's an unchaste person because she was married and she had children from her husbands. So how is that a bad thing? How many of you beautiful people out there have children from different fathers? How many? Does that make you an unchaste person? Of course not. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But yes, be aware that I've been informed that when the lawyer said that it wasn't the strongest of case, he was referring to a specific small part of the case, not the entire case. And even if the judge throws it out in a technicality, they're still going to go ahead, amend the technicality, and go for it. Okay? So it'll be interesting. But now we have South Park. South Park trashing Meghan. Now, they are attending. Make no mistake, they are attending. It's not that if and when they're going to be invited. They have already been invited. I don't know why people are still debating that. And they are going to be part of the things. And Doria will most likely attend. Let's hope I'm wrong on this one. Let's hope the information I got is wrong. But King Charles is dead on being woke. And if the Middletons are going to be there, he's going to do his damnedest to have Doria there as well. Because he wants to look cool. He wants to be hip. He doesn't care that Prince William and his wife have been horribly maligned. He doesn't care that the entire country of the United Kingdom has been maligned. He doesn't care about the diplomatic tensions Meghan Markle's and Harry's racist allegations made throughout the Commonwealth, that some of them are still dropping. And it's not the allegations that Harry and Meghan said that matter. It's the fact that they were not contested. I don't care. If they didn't want to talk about anything else that she said, that's fine. But the racist allegations that were heavily, heavily implied, that were said, have not been addressed. And on top of that, Harry was rewarded by having the Better Up ad in the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, which is about 2.4 billion people. And he's gotten over, now I think the count is about 700,000 subscriptions, of which he has a percentage. And this is the only company that is being fully advertised in the Queen's Commonwealth Trust as the best thing that's out there other than Coca-Cola. So you tell me. So when people tell me that King Charles, you know what? It really bothers me when people say, oh, but he's doing the right thing. He's taking the dignified thing. No, the dignified thing is not to keep taking a beating. It's to say, wait a minute. Okay, you're my son. I love you. That's fine. But this is a state occasion. You have trash, slander the monarchy. So you know what? For birthdays and family gatherings, you're more than welcome to come. But for state occasions, like the Queen's funeral, he should not have been there. Or if he had been there, he should never have given place of pride, because he was not a working royal. He should have been with Beatrice. And the Queen did it. Why couldn't he do it? The Queen was firm. The Queen had them for the Jubilee. She made sure they were third row somewhere in the back there, and that they were going to come in the bus. But they were, it's like How many times has these two snakes have bitten you before you realize that snakes bite? I ask you this question. How many times does a snake have to bite you in order for you to understand that is the nature of the snake? Okay? So, how many times? King Charles doesn't care that Parliament has told him that there's right now the Taliban has put a price on Harry's head. Number two, Harry's still suing King Charles' government, His Majesty's, for security. He's still doing it now. Nobody's talking about it. Have you noticed that's gone away? Nobody's talking about it. What's happened to that lawsuit? Because this is what really bothers me. They do these things behind our back. They distract you with things, and then Harry's getting, publicly funded security very quietly. Very quietly. So yes, the South Park thing, I'll do another thing about that. But so you know, what do you guys think? Why are things being misreported? Now, I got to tell you something. There is a video out there of Samantha's other daughter with this Rosalind Markle talking crap about Samantha. This girl should count her blessings that she has a mother like Samantha who was looking out for her, because she was a minor and she was dating an older man who was taking advantage of her. And Samantha was trying to protect her. But as any entitled woke teen, you don't tell them what to do, just like Harry and Meghan Markle. Okay? Except that Harry and Meghan Markle are no longer teens. So for those of you, those are the lies that are being told about the court case. The judge should be ruling something today. Let's hope the judge doesn't throw it out. Let's hope that, she's still going ahead and she still deposes. But if it does, no, don't fret about it. If it's going to be mostly based on a technicality. I don't think it'll be thrown away. I don't think it'll be thrown out. I think it'll go ahead. But they might need to amend stuff. But yes, Meghan Markle, basically the feminist, trashed her disabled sister with advanced multiple sclerosis and told lies and called her a slut because she was married to men. Apparently being married and getting divorced, you're a slut. So where does that leave Meghan Markle? Where does that leave Meghan Markle? Because she's been married and she's been divorced. And as I said, Mette-Marit, the Princess of Norway, has a child from a previous man and she wasn't married. Is that a slut? And then she has 2 children from the Crown Prince of Norway. So is she a slut? And what's most important, apparently Meghan Markle will be given a tiara to wear at the coronation. So for those of you, because when they go to coronations, they wear tiaras and stuff like that. So which tiara will Meghan get? Will this be another tiara gate? Leave me your comment.